Hello everyone. So in this nice tutorial, I think I'll talk about events and delegates in Unity and C Sharp, I guess. So to start off here, you can see I have this example where I have this table that kind of comes down using this rack and pinion, and then this worm gear here. I'll just show you what the scene is about. So as you can see, the table is coming down, and what I would like to happen is some sort of a sensor here that when the tabletop touches, then it'll stop, because currently it just goes through and it will, you know, it looks ugly. So we want to have some sort of a mechanism where when this tabletop touches a some sort of a sensor or a game object, then it will stop. And we can use, I guess, events and delegates for that. So to start off, I'll come here and I'll create, well, before I do that, I'll just talk about what I have here. So I have this sensor here that's setting, I adjusted the height. And then on the tabletop, I have a box collider and a rigid body. So if you want to do like a trigger, you want to add a rigid body on your surface, on one of your surface actually. And then this surface is the trigger. And on my other one, as I said, there's a box collider. So with that cleared away, we're gonna go and create a new C# script, and I'll call it sensor. Okay, and then what we can do is fire it up. Let's say reload all. So currently I don't need this. So what I need is I need to have a delegate here. A delegate is a type, and I'll say stop. I'll call it a stop action. And then the other thing is I need is an event that we're going to fire when the tabletop hits the sensor, or when the sensor detects that something is colliding with it. So what I'll do is I'll say event, and then I'll say stop action, and then we'll say on stop. Okay, so when that is done, then I'm sure you are aware in Unity you don't put, this is a type, so you don't put it's not a function, that's why you don't put the parentheses. Okay, then the other thing you want to do is you want to have your trigger function, and this is a function that comes within Unity, and I'll say collider and other. Okay, so what we want to happen is we want to call the on stop. We want to fire the on stop event. Now this is static, and the reason why it's static is so that we don't need to instantiate a sensor object, and we can directly just call it. I'll show you guys how that'll work. So we can subscribe to this event, and here when the trigger happens, it will call whoever is in charge of it or wants it. So then, well, before we do that, let's just make sure that the trigger is working. So we will say trigger, and I'll save this. I'll come back into my Unity, and I'll take this sensor, and I think we can add this sensor script like so. Right, so if everything work well, I should be able to see in my console that whatchamacallit, that debug line. There you go. So trigger happened. That's awesome. Okay, so then I can go back into my sensor script, and we can get rid of this, and we can say fire the stop event. Now here's the table controller, and the table controller is controlling the motion of the table, like clockwise, counterclockwise, depending on the crank handle. So the first thing we need is we need a variable, and it's going to be a boolean. We're going to call it stop, and let's assign or initialize it to false. So initially we want to move, and then what we want to have happen is in the update function, if we see that if stop is true, then we simply return, meaning just don't do the table motion. Okay, so now we need to somehow subscribe to this event. And the way we do this is in our start function, you can do something like sensor dot. And here you want to say on stop plus equals stop. So what you're saying is for the stop event, we want to call a function here within this table controller. So since this stop function doesn't exist, so we're going to create it. So I'll say void stop like so. And now the problem here is everything is stop stop. So I think maybe we can change this to on stop and on stop, so differentiate it. And then what we want to do here is I'll say stop is equal to true. So that'll prevent this from happening or the table moving. Now a good thing we can do is just come here and we will say if we have already subscribed to this, unsubscribe and then subscribe again. Okay, so if everything worked well, then the table should stop when it hits the sensor. So let's fire it and let's see. It's coming, and sensor is somewhere here and it should stop. Amazing. So as you can see, when we hit this box right here, so as you can see, they've collided and the sensor stopped. So there you go. That's how simple it is to work with delegates, and I hope you enjoyed. If you guys want to make a video on how I did this, all this mechanism, then please let me know. I can just do the whole 3D modeling and then importing into Unity and all the scripting. Okay, bye for now.